watermelon field on the old Lloyd Road from US 27 to Lloyd. As you can see, they have already cultivated the land and got the beds made, ready to put the plastic down to plant watermelons this year. They would have already had it planted, but due to the drought and the dry conditions, they waited until it rained, which it just rained recently. So they're putting the plastic down today. As you can see, they've got part of it down already, and we're going to watch the tractor and show you how the plastic is put down here in a few minutes, as soon as they get it operable. Trying to get a good start here, good foothold. Lovely. This plastic that is put down will come back later and plant through the plastic, plant the watermelon seed.
$1 going out, a lot of herd, a lot of big herd. Another thing too, that's about the fast hoeing you'll ever find. Put it out here, get through with your hoeing.
Laying the plastic down, the little wheels on each side, plows are covering it up to hold it down in the ground. Apparently they're having mechanical problems, can't get it set just right, so they're having to make a few adjustments here until it's just right. Levin's just arrived on the scene here and supervising them. Make sure that it's tight because they don't want any air pockets underneath it.
What do you say?
Melvin, what's the purpose of the plastic?
Plastic is to keep the moisture in the bed and to keep it warm, changes the temperature. It makes your watermelon grow a lot better, and it conserves all your fertilizer. All the fertilizer put on at one time, you see, and none of it goes anywhere. It has to stay there to be used up, and it eliminates high-priced hoe hands.
So approximately how much per acre does it save you in labor?
Well, it actually probably don't save nothing in labor. It just saves the hassle of getting labor, bad labor, you know, and you have to stay with them. It probably saves $30 an acre probably for labor.
Does the plastic make the melons come up quicker due to the hole in the heat in it?
That's kind of hard to say. Yeah, some people seem to think it does, and I seem to think it may make a day or two difference. But for us, a week, I would say it help a week.
But most of the farmers are planting under plastic this day and time, aren't they?
Yeah, they're planting under plastic because you got this old ground with a lot of weed seed and all kinds of weed seed in it, and that plastic eliminates all the weeds except nut gray. You got a nut grass field, you have to find something else because that plastic won't help.
How many times do y'all cultivate this land before you put the plastic down?
Well, this land here we had to harrow it twice on account of the corn stalks were still here. I had cows on it to eat up the corn stalks and stuff, and they didn't do a good job, so I really had to harrow it twice. Then you have opening plow to open up, put out your fertilizer node, and then you have to bed it back up with a bedding harrow. And that's where it is ready now to put the plastic down after you get it bedded.
Ordinarily, you would have planted when?
Ordinarily, I wouldn't have planted no sooner. Ordinarily, you just had to get the plastic out while you got moisture in the ground. You can't put it out on a dry bed because the moisture can't get under there.
Do you think that it's got considerable amount of moisture with no more rain than we've had?
It's got plenty of moisture. We had plenty of rain, We had 1.5 to 2 inches of rain. That's enough for any open land. It didn't have ponds and stuff in it, but it put plenty of water on the ground.
And you're going to start planting when?
We'll start planting tomorrow. That'll be the 27th of February.
How many acres do you have in this field?
There's 130 acres in this field, but I'm not putting in but 80 acres of watermelon. The rest of it I'm gonna put in the soybeans that side over there. Put in soybeans.
How long will it take you to plant that 80 acres?
Yeah, this early in the season, it would probably take me at least a week. I'm not gonna get in a hurry because I don't want to get over 20 acres planted between now and the next 2 or 3 days. Let the season get a little older. And I'll be planting right on to the 10th of March. Last year I got planted this time of year, and frost come along and killed everything, so went back planting on the 10th and got through on the 13th, and the melons outgrew any that I ever planted because I got it in the break of the weather, and they didn't get stunted or anything. They just come up growing wide open. And had some people that had watermelons right across the fence from me, and mine outgrew them, and they come in early in theirs, and they covered theirs up with cups, so it's kind of a hit and miss deal.
Do you predict any more cold weather this year?
I don't predict anymore. If I didn't, I wouldn't plant, The next 2 or 3 days wouldn't make any difference because the seed won't be up. The ground's cold, and it'll probably take at least a week for the seed to come up. And by then I hope all the cold's gone.
We're going to come back out here whenever you start planting and see your operation. Where did you get this machine that puts the plastic down?
I built that machine. Built that one from a pattern that I get the name of the company down in South Florida that built them. I didn't build it like it, but I built one similar to it, and I got a watermelon planting machine I just built. I hadn't ever tried yet. I copied it from somebody else's too. It's not built like it, but it's built similar. And tomorrow I'll try it and see how it works.
We'll come back and see how it works also.
Yeah. That's not coming about that. I wouldn't kick on that too bad though. I don't care about that so bad. Come out this morning, they had the damn thing up in the air foot high. Yeah. Gotta get that lard ash on that through that not make out wrong. thing you have to do is check this outfit to see if it's got any seed.
Where did you get this outfit at?
This outfit is something I built. I copied it from another person's outfit, kind of remodernized it just a little.
What did you do to remodel it?
I changed. Yeah. I made a little bigger wheel and put an extra cup on it there. I don't know if that's an advantage or not.
What's the extra cup for?
Extra cup is where it won't work. One he had 2 cups. And the more cups you put on it, the less it has to work. It does wear. We put these seed in here. Put these seed in here. You're supposed to put a little graphite on it to keep the plates in the planter from chattering. A lot of people think they put the graphite on there to flick the seed, but that's not it. Put it on there to keep the plates from chattering. But graphite costs too much, so I put Johnson baby powder.
Got that, folks, Johnson the baby powder.
It's a lot cheaper.
And it works
Smells.
just as good.
Smells better too.
Makes the melons taste better too, huh?
Yeah. Actually, that baby powder is got oil in it, just like the graphite, but it's more of a clear oil and more of a dry oil.
Did you use Johnson baby powder last year?
Yeah, I've been using Johnson baby powder for 10 years.
Think we need to send this in for a commercial for the TV?
They ought to pay me.
Watermelons grown with Johnson's baby powder.
Yeah, the seed is kind of thin, and the place has to fit so tight in there. Till if you don't put some kind of oil or something on it, the plates will chatter like that and the seed will jump off. Here then, we got enough in it right now.
What is it for?
It's kind of help keep the rats from eating the seed up before they come up. And it's kind of insecticide. It's a systemic. It's in the plant. Kind of death with nematodes and little disease problem and stuff like that. And I had a rat bait to it. In case the rats are the problem, they don't get the fure down. Maybe they'll eat that rat bait. I can eliminate one rat.
Out of how many?
Eliminate several acres of watermelon, because that one rat will dig up 2 or 3 acres of watermelon. Well, I got a hawkeye hen is a real farmer's pet. Now you can probably see him out here. He sits out there and looks for rats. About the only thing they eat, I reckon, is ground moles or something.
Are we ready to go plant now?
Huh?
We ready to go plant now?
Yeah, I reckon we'll see if we can. If you stand up that row a little piece there, when I get started, you might just see me coming. Alright, don't get in my way now, because you're going to see this car solid.
What a tractor. Latest in the farm equipment, folks. notice how it's mashing the holes, cutting holes in the plastic, dropping the seed in the plastic, and the plants will come up. Melvin, I understand you're out here on the tractor again today, and here it is, March the 29th. Give us an explanation on that.
Well, I done planted these watermelons twice, and I still hadn't even got a stand out there. I've already planted these watermelons twice, and I hadn't got a stand. And it seemed like right side of the road is where you get your worst watermelons.
Why is that, you think?
I don't know. That's where you want them the best, where everybody looks at them. And they just won't come up. I don't know what's the matter with them. They just got one there once in a while.
What percentage stand do you think you got up?
Well, right here, it's not 25%. That's just 12 acres right here, and all back in yonder is just 75% stand back there.
How about the rest of the field? How did they come up?
It's about 75% back there.
And you replanted those back there also?
I replanted them for the second time back there to get them up. I can't figure out what it is. I think it's these seeds a little bit weak. Now, where I planted some Royal Jubilees over there, just planted them one time, and they come up a stand. But these Mirages is weaker type seed, even though they germinate good and tested good by the Department of Agriculture. They won't tolerate the cold ground and nothing.
Did the birds eating the seed have anything to do with it? You think that was a problem?
The birds ate the seed up to start with, and then replanted, and then some of them didn't come up to, I just don't know what the problem is. Most of the problem is planting this old ground.
Sure it wasn't bad baby powder.
That baby powder. Yeah, it wasn't baby powder up here down either. I put baby powder, and baby powder just to keep the seeds slick so they turn over in the hopper. And the Furidan was dumped on top of them to keep the insects and the worms and that kind of stuff out of it.
When do you think y'all will start shipping out of this field? Do you have an idea?
Well, it's going to be close to the 20th of June before I ship now. I threw it back real late.
But you should be able to ship longer.
Well, they ship longer, but usually the price by the 1st of July is done drop to zero. But I'm going to replant these in case it don't. I already got the stuff out.
Might as well make use of it, huh?
All it's going to cost to seed, but I'm not sure these seeds are going to come up. It might be some fungus in the land and maybe worms. I haven't got any idea.
Has any watermelons ever been planted on this land before?
Watermelon planted on this land about 20-something years ago, but I've been running cows on it. Last year I had corn, so I don't know whether the corn has attracted all these bugs and stuff or not.
But a lot of farmers plant watermelons right after a corn crop, don't they?
And a lot of them do, but we usually don't do it down here in Jefferson County on account of the yield drops off so bad. I've got double my acres this year than I had last year on account I figure the yield's going to be way low on this old ground, you know.
Well, I guess we better check these watermelons that's up and see how high they are. I guess we don't predict any more cold weather this year. Normally y'all put cups over them whenever you see frost coming, but hopefully there won't be any this year, will it?
Yeah, it's about too late in the season. A lot of times you get a lot of little frost spots, even in, in April. Year before last, you got little frost around the spots. It looked like disease got in, but wasn't nothing, just a little frost, just spotty. I think it's late enough now that you can get them all right, but everything be all right.
For these people watching this tape that are wondering, did Betty hit you in the lip or was that a farming accident?
That's one of them farming accidents. The statistics on farm accidents is way higher than it is any other kind of job.
But it didn't hurt your ability to drive the tractor and plant today, huh?
No, it didn't hurt my mouth either because I don't use it much for talking anyway. That's what I got this big head for, to think, not talk.
Right.
That don't do no good either, don't look like.
Not much of a stand here. This is on the back side of the field where Melvin said the stand was real good. You can see he does have a good ratio of come up here. These have not been replanted. There are certain spots in the field where the wind has torn the plastic up. Not much you can do about it. But it didn't hurt the watermelons coming up. Some of them are still coming up. Melvin, here it is, March the 25th, I believe. And we were over here videoing this field 26th of February, and you were planting. You had done planted some. How's your watermelons coming along?
Well, right now, in the last 2 or 3 days, everything started growing good. The weather's got hot, and the roots have got a better hold on, and they're really growing now. 2 days ago, I figured, well, I had a week or two to lay these things by. So I started yesterday in them, and now it looks like I'm 2 days late. So some of the vines has got out there far enough, even with a tractor wheel, to run over the ends of it. If I'd have waited in later, I'd have turned vines or something. But they've started off wide open in the last couple of days.
This plant is not a watermelon, apparently. What is it?
Plant is a citron plant. I have a lot of them in this field, and they look like a watermelon. But actually, that's not in the fertilizer. If it was, it'd be twice as big as a watermelon plant.
What are they good for?
They're not good for anything. They do a little hard thing, looks like a watermelon. You couldn't bust it with a hammer.
These plants right here, are they part of the first ones that you planted?
No, most all the first ones I planted is died. This is the second plant. This watermelon here was planted about the 15th of March.
So that's about
they come up when I first planted. They'd have been a lot longer than that. When I first planted these watermelons, I found them up 30 inches. And you notice these here is about every 60. So they come back and replanted 60 inches, and the first one didn't come up. I still haven't found out. We got the extension agent working on it, but he don't know nothing either. Well, this is one of the first plants we planted right there, that little watermelon. And it's kind of stunning. For some reason, though.
And the others have come up and overtaken it.
Yeah.
This grass coming up through this plastic, does that hurt any?
Well, there's not no more in there that don't hurt it, but if it's thicker than that, it would. If you get the camera right down here closer, you get the camera down there closer, see all that holes in that plastic?
Uh-huh.
That was hail.
Is that right?
Yeah, you can see the difference in the size of the hail. See, that was a big hail there. It's probably big as your thumb. The rest of them, the small hail that not just hit so hard, knocked holes in plastic, it riddled these watermelons. Killed some of them, knocked some of the leaves off.
You think this is a disaster field?
Well, I wish it would have a disaster on the thing. They pay you for it, but they tore them up pretty bad. You can tell all along there.
When do you predict that the melons will be shipped out of this field?
Well, it looks right now that the watermelon will probably be shipped about until about the 15th
Of June?
of June. Yeah, I was thinking maybe that we try to plant them so that they'll come in, around the 1st to the 10th. You got a better chance of making a little money out of it. Mess around and come in on the 20th or so, prices usually kind of low. It's hard to get your money back.
Have you already got somebody lined up to buy them?
Well, there's always several buyers around. If the watermelon prices are good, there's not any problem for anybody to buy them. But if the watermelon is bad, you can't get nobody to buy them. That's about the way it is,
So what do you have to do to this field now as far as working it before you can start, getting them to the point of shipping?
Well, right now I'm ripping out, if you get the factory right there, I'm ripping out this hard pan now right upside of this truck row. I got it set up just for ripping that truck row out. When I get it out, I'm going to set them out a little wider so I can rip all this middle out. All this grass has got to come out. And after that, I run a little hair right down the middle with some herbicide in there to keep the grasses from coming back.
Where's your helper at today?
Neil, he's supposed to be waiting on to load some soybeans out. Long supposed to come by and load some soybeans out. And yesterday he called and said his truck that stuff was broke down, so he's up there waiting around on that.
What were those little bugs that you were showing me on the back of the Harrier a while ago?
The little bugs and worms is coming out of this truck row here with this rye where it's high. That beam is hitting that rye and knocking them aphids off and little worms and all kinds of stuff. And if you was to cut that rye down right now to the ground, all them aphids and worms would take to these watermelons. So it'd be kind of a disaster to do that. If you did that, then you'd have to go into a massive spray program.
You don't want to spray just yet either, huh?
I don't want to spray at all. I never had any trouble with aphids. Some people already sprayed for aphids. But there's aphids in watermelons all year round, so if they don't get too bad, you don't have to worry about them.
Okay, Melvin, we appreciate it, and we'll be back with you in another couple of weeks.
Okay. That's what you call a parabolic gripper.
What?
Parabolic. It's got a curve in it. When it gets down it lifts that dirt.
Uh-huh.
Those rippers push dirt. When you push dirt, you leave a hard ridge. They compact it.
Did you build this?
And then it's how about that there? See, that's a fishious of some sort. I saw one plant last year. solid yellow. The whole thing was yellow, and it grew a yellow watermelon.
Tell us about your well up there, Melvin. Y'all having problems putting one down?
Yeah, that's old Larry Brock. He's been up there now 3 weeks. He went on down to about 250 feet, didn't have enough water. And his helper had a slot on his brain. He had to go to the hospital, so Larry's having to do both jobs. He's having to go around the people, pull the wells and all when they call for him, ones they put well down for before. He just works on it part-time. But if it gets any slower,
melons will be harvested, huh?
melons will be dried up before he gets it.
How many feet are they down now?
I hadn't asked him, but he was 275 feet when he hit a rock. He drilled 2 days and a half and went 7 feet.
Tough, isn't it?
He's burning his money now.
What size well is it going to be?
This is a 6-inch well.
You think it'll be capable of irrigating the whole field here?
Oh, it'll irrigate the whole field right on and on. Of course, the water management there is, they kind of limit you on the water now. They want to know how much water you use, and if you have any problem around in the county and the water level dropping down underneath and affecting other people's well, they cut you off. One done's gone. Done's gone.
Well, maybe by the next time we talk to you, you'll have it in and pumping.
Don't get to me no faster than this time you did next time. I'll be shipping water.
We'll be here. Don't give us out. This is Melvin Busby's field, another one of his fields that he has now set on fire to burn off so that he can plant future crops here. This is what farmers do on their off time while they're waiting on their watermelons to grow. I think we're a little bit late getting to this field. As you can see, most of it's already burned off.
This stuff will burn right here.
This is on the back side down here. You can probably hear the fire burning. See it burning down here? It's the last part of the field. The wind is blowing real hard. Didn't take long for it to burn. Smoke. Back here is Cuba Swamp, which we still see some black smoke. Smoke going up into the clouds here. That noise hissing noise is the fire in those trees. It's a Cuba swamp down there. As you can see, the field is already burned behind us now. Wind's blowing to the west. Hear the noise of the fire in the trees. Real windy day today. Here at Melvin's Field again. And as you can see, it's been about a month since we were over here. The vines are really getting big. We'll talk to Melvin in a minute. But I think what he's doing today is turning the vines on the turn row. As you can see, he's already done this one. And we'll get up with him and see his machine in action. You can see these vines are growing out into the turn rows, which is the rows that the melon trucks go up and down that picks up the melons. And to keep the truck tires from running over these vines, Melvin is doing what they call turning the vines with the machine. Let's see how it operates. It's on a little Ford tractor. And this is what it looks like after he's gotten through with it. Isn't that a neat job? Tell us about this rig, Melvin.
This is a watermelon vine turner. And this is the second time I've been over these watermelons. But watermelon is so thick, they grow toward that rider sticking up out there. Seems like all the vines want to look road or something to climb on, say. And they all grow toward the truck road. That turner.
Did you build this rig yourself?
Yeah, I built this thing 15 years ago. It's slowly catching on. I've got 2 or 3 people now that wants to build one like it. Takes a while for things to catch on.
And how much labor does this save you by doing it with a tractor?
Well, vines that thick like that, it's hard for labor to even turn them, you know, without tearing them up so bad. It probably costs you $5 or so an acre for labor to do it, if they can do it right. This thing not perfect, but it's pretty close.
How's the melon crop coming along?
My melon crop is a little slow, a little skippy, had a bad start. But I see some of the boys around that's got They about as pretty watermelons as I ever saw. Them that got a stand.
Has your crop set yet?
Oh yeah, they've been set probably a couple of weeks.
Tell us what it means to have a crop set.
Crop set, that means that the ones that's gonna stay on the vine and grow to maturity. Most of the time what comes on there is false watermelons. And they sometimes hit 2 or 3 crops of them before they decide they're strong enough to carry a watermelon.
What size melons do you have on your vines now?
Well, there's melons out there that weigh 8 pounds. Just a very few of them. But the main crop out there, runs about like a baseball or something like that. About a pound.
How much weight will they gain a day or a week? How much will they grow?
These watermelons, when they get to be 7 or 8 pounds, they'll grow 2 pounds a day for the next 10, 20 days.
So when do you predict that you'll start shipping melons?
I won't ship any before the 12th. Best shipping is going to be from the 15th on.
And what type melons are these that you have planted out here?
These here is Mirage melons. They're blocky type, short, striped melon. Looks like a Jubilee on it. It's short, blocky. Got more heat per cubic inch than most melons.
Has the melons that you replanted the second and third time, have the vines caught up with the first ones that you planted?
The vines in length is caught up, but the maturity of the vine has. It don't have any more melons.
So there'll be another crop behind, like what, 2-3 weeks behind shipping?
Well, the crops are on there, but they'll be behind. Maybe they catch up fast though, because the weather gets hotter and hotter. It won't be 5-6 days difference, but that 5 or 6 days is the difference between making money and not.
When do you think the first melons will be shipped out of Jefferson County?
Well, I think they're gonna scrap whenever they start getting ripe, so probably the first melon is gonna be shipped out by the 10th anyway.
And whose will they be?
Well, Jeff Walker's got some that's been put on earlier, and he might be one that scraps out carload early. But some of the other boys it's a little early too, so I really don't know exactly.
Some of the growers around here had transplants that they planted rather than seed. How is their crop coming along?
Well, I haven't seen any of them in the last 2 or 3 weeks. But what I saw at that time, there wasn't any ahead at all of the seed.
Diseased?
No, they just wasn't ahead. The ground and the weather and all wasn't right for them to just take off and start growing. They stayed dormant, stunted for a week or 2, and that gave these seed watermelon time to catch up.
Well, we'll let you get back to work, and we'll check with you again in a couple of weeks and see how the melon crop's doing. Have you started irrigating yet?
Started yesterday and it rained.
How's the pump, the well that you put down, the pump situation? Is it working like you wanted it to?
Well, no, it's not. It don't have the water capacity that I thought. I didn't look into it good enough before I put it down. But it don't pump about 350 gallons a minute, and I need about 4. So I'm gonna have to be a little slower about irrigating.
Well, maybe the rain's a holdup for you.
Maybe just rain right on. I won't have to do it all.
Right.
My main problem right now is I got a little downy mildew in these things. If I don't get them sprayed, but they'll take over my crop before I can get very many out.
Got anything else you want to tell us today?
No, I ain't thinking of nothing.
Well,
Never thinking of nothing. Let's be out.
we'll check back with you in a couple of weeks then.
Okay.
That's a melon that Vaughn just found.
This is a melon that Vaughn just picked up. This vine trying to pull it off. And one reason the stem was put on there, the kinking was easy to come. And another reason is such small tolerance between the wheel and the point down there, that when the wheel catches it and then the point catches it, it drags it. So there's just some of that that goes on all the time anyway.
Is that about the size of the melons out there though?
That's about the size of the crop that I have today. And today's about 22nd.
Right.
That's about the main crop.
This is one of the larger melons in the field. Be nice if the whole crop was like this, wouldn't it? In comparison, this is a smaller one. Melvin's making another round. With his watermelon vine turner. See how it operates here. He's moving along pretty fast. Does a pretty good job. The vines are pretty far out into the rows. You can see it flipping them over. This is quail right at the edge of Bo Walker's watermelon field. Bo Walker's watermelon field is located across from Fatty Rabin's house near Monticello, about halfway between Waukeenah and Monticello. Got a good stand of vines here. This is June 1st, 1989. This is Butler Walker's field, and it's located next to Mississippi Lake here. And in fact, you can see where the lake was back here in the back. The lake is now dry. We'll go back by Mississippi Lake and see what we're talking about, that the lake has been drawn down and it's dry. Butler had originally intended to irrigate from Mississippi Lake, but since the lake is dry, he had to have other means for irrigating. I believe these are transplanted watermelons. It's a pretty field. They set out transplants rather than planting seed here. They should be shipping probably within 2 weeks from this field. This is the Mississippi Lake Basin. You can see a small body of water out here. And the rest of it that used to be water is now grass and dry land. As far down as you can see. This was what Butler had intended on irrigating his watermelons out of. But due to the county commission voting to draw the lake down, the Game Freshwater Fish Commission, the lake has been drawn down. There was no water to irrigate from. Bubba and Jeff's watermelon field was planted here in Waukeenah, about 2 miles from Waukeenah, on the Waukeenah plantation land. We'll go in now and see their operation. This is Bubba and Jeff Walker's operation here. As you can see, they're steady loading watermelon. Go up and check out these packers. They just finished, or getting ready to finish this load of watermelon. They're fixing to block up the end of it here, tailgate part.
I got whipped a couple times. I think the first one in the wrong place. I don't know.
This is Melvin Busby's watermelon field, and it's located about 2 miles south of Lloyd, Florida. This is the one that we've been looking at all year long on this tape. And as you can see, there's still quite a few melons out here. This truck coming out is one of the few that's been out of the field lately. It's been packed in the backside of the field and been out. He's moved his loading operation to the side of the highway here because of the wet weather, and they couldn't get the trucks in. Melvin's loading crew consists of a contract crew out of South Florida. As you can see, it looks like he's got a lot of help on the other side of the fence to help dispose of some of these melons, which is probably a good thing to keep down on the smell. Looks like they're on a break right now. The straw bosses hold up the operation back here in the backside and talk over problems, etc. We'll have to go back and get a hold of the latest of what's going on.
But I didn't recognize him until you mentioned till he left there. He finally hit who he was.
Looks like he's got plenty of help today.
What did I have one?
Melvin, tell us the latest on your watermelon situation here. It's been about a month since we was here in the field. So what's the latest?
The latest in the watermelon field is it hadn't rained since yesterday. A few days ago we had 5.5 inches. And we just got to where we can move around just a little bit without pulling tractors and wagons out the bog. And the vines is kind of going down on account of the rain and moisture in the ground and stuff.
How many have you loaded out of this field this year?
I don't rightly know. Somewhere around 20 loads so far. Somewhere around at 20, 25 loads, I'm not sure. Because I got 2 people working in there.
You've had a considerable amount of breakdowns this year, haven't you?
Had a lot of breakdowns, but mostly it was bog down. We done pulled 2 trailers in 2. And had to pull tractors out 2 or 3 times a day. But today we've been able to move around a little bit. Look like we're gonna get that hurricane out of Texas in here tomorrow, the storm or something.
What did you finally have to get in here in order to get your melons out of the field?
Finally had to get a 4850 4-wheel drive John Deere and a D7 Caterpillar just to pull the wagons around with.
And I noticed
that
you
made
moved.
it awful slow.
Yeah.
You know.
You moved your loading operation from the backside of the field outside of the highway also.
Yeah, it got so bad right yonder that the trucks, that the ground was hard and it didn't bog down. But you had to pull the trailers in and out and had to pull the big trucks around to get up to the load. So we had to move out here on the highway. Figured the Lord had done got on us by now, but they must feel sorry for us. They ain't said a thing.
How much longer you think you're gonna be shipping?
Well, I'll be moving this around these watermelons, you know, probably a couple of weeks, but I'm gonna get over them tomorrow. First time getting over them.
Price wasn't too good to start this year, was it?
Our price was started off at 3.5, and it's done moved up now to 6 on account, I guess, the 4th of July and the shortage of watermelon.
Do you anticipate it going any higher?
No. I think they've got it high as they want to get it because they're not used to raise the price anymore because they can't get the watermelon. It's just a limited amount, you know. But, I forgot. So watermelon started off cheap in this fog and a lot of rain. That's just what makes the watermelon business, and that's how come everybody's not planting them. And I'm not gonna lose a whole lot of money this year, about 12,000, but a lot of people are gonna lose a lot more than that. And some people are gonna make it.
Seems like all the farmers around have had problems with the rain and bogging down and getting the melons out of the field, and so you're not the only one.
And disease problems too.
Are the melons starting to hold water now?
They get a little water in them, but not bad. Something thick to chew you about a watermelon when it's dry. Sometimes it get a little rain, they'll pick up a lot of water, but when you get a lot of rain, the ground's wet, they just know how to cut the water off and keep from busting.
Did you have to irrigate very much this year?
I started irrigating twice. The first time I got about 200 yards in the rain. I left the machine there. about a week, and it got dry again, and I started again, and I run it about 12 hours, and then I got 5.5 inches. So it hasn't been no problem for water at all.
You have a contract crew, not local people, is that right? Some local, but I mean the majority of your workforce is contract?
Yeah, I got a contract loading crew.
How are they working out?
Well, they're working out just fine. Got a pretty good boss man over the crew, and he gets to keep them straight. Can't keep enough help, but every day you don't know how many you can get out on account of rain and bogging, so you can't have 40 head of men out here, you know, and get out 1 or 2 loads a day. They won't pay off the man that's hiring them. A lot of weeds in the field, but as hot as it is now, kind of keeps it from burning.
They're about to
Get
get
a
a
drop of rain in.
right. We're gonna go and visit some more.
Yeah, I was leaning up against the tree last I seen her. Oh, yeah. Oh, the price is good. I mean, you don't quit on 6 cents more. He looks like a monkey. He looks like a Bigfoot flying your way. He got me up that one guy's house now. When it gets back to his old time crazy driving, boy, he starts coming off that back. That's what we just get to the tree.
how many loads y'all loaded?
Well, I believe this is the 19th, Jerry.
Y'all had a lot of problems, haven't you?
Yeah, we have. It's been wet weather.
You gonna wind it up today?
Well, all except the scrapping, I know.
Got a pretty good crew working today?
Yeah, we got 2 crews today, but I think we'll do a little better.
Y'all had some women helping y'all this year, didn't you?
Yeah, we got a few there. They've been loading melons, unloading. I don't know whether they outwork the men or not. They've been doing a pretty good job.
They'll stick with this hot weather. It's about 98 in the shade today.
Yeah, well, it's about got me down.
Well, it's time everybody had a rest and went fishing anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, we need a little recreation now. Ask Neil what he's got thinks about the season.
I got a hunting and fishing report last year.
Ain't biting. Never will again.
How did you do this hunting season?
They get through, man. Get that thing out of here.
Now's your chance to be a star, Neil. You ain't gonna star right now? You girls do it pretty now. You're on camera.
That's it.
This is Butler Walker's field, which we videoed earlier this year. And as you can see, there's some melons here that have been cut, laying on heat rows. They're loading up here today. Looks like they got lots of trucks out here. We'll go on up and check out the situation, but you can see the watermelons laying all down the heat roads here. They're nearing the end of the loading season. Pretty field of watermelons here. Still plenty out there, it looks like.
Here belongs to Butler Walker. These go all the way back in each one of these corners. These melons out of this field is averaging 42.6 jubilees and jubilations. The jubilation is a new melon, but it's a melon plant from now on.
You've been buying melons.
Since I was 15 years old and I'm 76. Enjoy every minute of it.
You have lots of experience in it. Where do you live at, Mr. Mason?
I'm from Valdosta, Georgia, originally from Plymouth, South Carolina.
And who do you buy for?
Melons Incorporated. For years, ever since I started in the kitchen with Ben Johnson.
Where are they located at?
Yemassee, South Carolina.
When
I
these
buy now from Jack Moore, which used to be an employee as part owner in the company.
When these melons are loaded on these trucks and taken to Yemassee, South Carolina, what do they do with them there at the box plant, is it?
It's a nice box plant, and it's sent all over the world, and some of them are sent as far as England last year and this year. We send a lot of loads there, and then we send a lot on up the road, all over the world.
Do you anticipate buying melons next year?
As long as I live.
We
We
hope
have
that.
a nice crew working up there. We have Tommy Palmer, have Steve Willis, which is Ben's nephew, and then we have West Wind located there with a lot of equipment to haul the melons, and we have a lot of company trucks, both ways, tractors and trailers. And I intend to stay as long as they'll let me.
Do you anticipate moving to another location after you get through buying melons here?
Yes, I'm going out to Mississippi to look a deal over out there. I never have worked it, but I intend to go out and look it over. In the fall and October, I go back into Hyatt Farms, and they'll have around 400 to 500 acres of melons, all type, and 100 acres of seedless watermelon. And that's where I'll be in the winter. They're already looking for me to go back.
Who are the growers here in Jefferson County, Florida, that you buy from?
Well, I buy from Butler Walker, Frank and Danny Monroe, better known as Spot, Melvin Bud, Frank and, Bubba and Jeff Walker, two young farmers that I started off buying from, and all the melons that I want, I buy there from all of them, just as long as I can buy them.
How did the season go along this year?
Well, we had a wet season here. Been hard on the farmers, hard on the buyers.
Did they have a lot of...
Market is real good now. 6-cent market, and that's the way it goes.
Here it is, June the 27th, and some farmers have been shipping since June the 12th. Do they anticipate shipping much more?
As long as the melon here, and I stayed here till about the 27th of July last year, before I got out to field.
I believe you have a grandson working out here in Butler Walker's field?
Yes. Yes, I have a grandson here, and Butler has one too. He's out here. And the son here from Dallas, grandson here from Dallas, Texas. He's 15 years old, 6 feet 2, 185 pounds, and I'm tightening him up to play ball.
And maybe come back and work in the watermelons next year?
Until he goes to college or plays ball somewhere else. He will be here as long as I live.
Well, let's go down and see if we can locate him in the field crew and see how good a worker he is, Mr. Mason.
Thank you. Karen, we'll go.
Butler Walker, the grower here, is the one driving this tractor. You can see what type tractor it is. It's a four-wheel drive tractor in order to pull these melons out of the bog. Field crews, I got a load here. Almost ready to go in. His son, Tom B, is the one on the back here, checking each melon as they're loaded on the wagons. Family operation. This is where they're loading at, up on the hill here, overlooking the watermelon patch. A large field. These are large jubilees they're loading over there. Most of the farmers here had to get some type of large tractor to pull these trailers out of this because it was so wet. This is a four-wheel drive, 4 wheels on the front and 4 on the rear. This film this tape was primarily taped in Melvin Busby's field as an example of how watermelons are planted and harvested and shipped. My special thanks to Melvin for the time that he gave me and the information that he gave me also. The farmers in Jefferson County, Florida, near Waukeenah, Florida, who shipped melons were Bubba and Jeff Walker, Danny and Frank Monroe, Butler Walker, and Melvin Busby. And my special thanks to all of them for letting me go and video their field crews in operation. This was taped by Karen Busby Walker, Waukeenah, Florida. This is Robert Cooksey's watermelon field, and as you can see, it's July the 7th. He's loading today for, I believe, Lamar Rao. His field was late coming in, and he's only picked over a little half of his field. He's already loaded, I think, 25 loads out of this field. He's got pretty vines standing up here. One of the prettiest fields around this time of the year. Most of the other growers here in the county has already quit shipping or shipping their last load today. Things have been real slim. This is Robert Cooksey here, toting a gigantic melon. Robert, tell us about your watermelon patch.
Nothing good to it.
I believe you said you load for Lamar Rao.
Right.
And how many loads you had this year?
We get 25 loads.
But you planted late, or your field came in late?
You're coming late, planted late.
But that was to your advantage this year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What's the price you think this day?
8 cents, I know.
And maybe climbing, huh? Hopefully. What do you attribute your success for this melon field being late, and other than planting?
Not get too much rain. I didn't get much rain the rest of
You hadn't had much problem with bogging down or anything this year like the other farmers, have you? How many more loads you think you'll get?
5 more loads.
And you've been over half the field, probably 3/4 of it?
3/4 of
This is a contract crew in Robert's field, and as you can see, they load their melons on trucks rather than field wagons. And like he told us a while ago, he hasn't had any problem with bog downs and having to move these trucks around with tractors like the other farmers have. Pretty load of watermelons here. They usually do their culling of watermelons in the field. So these are grade A #1 melons that are loaded on the truck, so they load straight into the semis when they get ready. These are not local men out here working. They do have some women that work in this field also. Average on these are probably 28 to 32 pounds. Kind of hefty melons to be lifting up on the trucks. Build your muscles up. We're going to visit today another one of our Jefferson County farmers, and he's real unique type farmer, a good comparison as far as the other farmers of Jefferson County that we've talked with in the past. This particular farmer does all of his farming with a mule, and while we're waiting on him, we'll look at some of the equipment that he uses. These are sweet potatoes that are planted. He plants, plows, everything with a mule, totally. His name is O.L. Huggins. He lives just east of Waukeenah, Florida, right off of US 27. Correction there, just west of Waukeenah, Florida. Instead of east, he lives west of Waukeenah, Florida. This is his watermelon patch that he raised, probably 1/4 of an acre of watermelons here. his plow that hooks behind the mule. We'll get him to tell us in a little while just the names of all these plows.
Where you are? Where do you want me to?
This is the type farming that farmers used to use many, many years ago. And this farmer in Jefferson County continues to use this type, which is a mule-drawn plow. His name is O.L. Huggins. Like I said, he lives near Waukeenah, Florida. He's always farmed with a mule. I don't think he's ever used a tractor. He's got okra planted here in the rows already, and he's just plowing out the middles here. I believe his mule's name is Debbie. I think he's had this mule for some time. Has a trusty companion over here that helps keep him company. This is a lost art that is rarely used anymore. He has different type pieces of equipment that he uses behind this mule, just like the tractors have different type. About 8 o'clock in the morning. He gets out early in the morning. Set out, I think, 7 o'clock this morning. Oh, well, how long have you been plowing with this mule, or a mule?
I've been plowing this mule here about 4 years. This mule.
How long have you been farming with a mule, though?
I've been farming with a mule about anyway after about 50 some years.
And how old are you now?
71.
71 years old.
Yeah, 71.
Who taught you to plow with a mule?
Well, my mother taught me. Yes, ma'am. My mother taught me. I was 71 years old. It's 6th of June. It's gone June.
Have you ever farmed with a tractor?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Never farmed.
Always farmed with a mule?
Yes, ma'am. Always farmed with a mule.
Yeah. And you live near Waukeenah?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you lived there all your life?
Yes, ma'am. Lived all
I've heard all my life that you have part Indian in you. Is that true?
my life. Well, that's what I heard too. That's what I heard. I don't know. That's what I heard.
You'll claim it anyway, especially if they've got money, huh?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Just tell them to send it on.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
What are you planting out here, or what kind of work are you doing today?
I'm just still having my okra now. Over there, I'm planting peanuts over there, and over here I'm planting peanuts.
Uh-huh. What is that piece of equipment called right there that you're plowing with?
Call this Joe Harris.
Joe Harris?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Joe Harris.
And you've got some more type of pieces of equipment that fits behind your mule. What do you call those?
I call them out there. I got a twin plow, a Holloman plow. That's a Holloman plow. And sweet hoppergrass stalk.
I believe Vaughn called it a Georgia grasshopper.
Well,
Is that a nickname for it?
well, that's all they ever call it. It's hoppergrass.
Yeah. Have you got any children?
Yes, ma'am.
Do they ever help you farm with this mule?
No, ma'am. No,
You're about the only one left that farms with a mule, huh?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I believe you got a little sled that fits behind your mule.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That's your transportation too, huh?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's a whole flying thing.
Did you build that?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you own an automobile?
No, ma'am.
So your total transportation is with the mule?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, you get a lot of gas mileage out of him, don't you?
Yes, ma'am.
How many mules do you have, O.L.?
Well, I just got one now. Yes, ma'am.
Just one?
Yes.
Are they pretty hard to find?
Yes, ma'am. They, it's hard to find a mule now. You can't hardly find a mule. You got to go way up in Tennessee and get a mule.
But they do good work, don't they?
Yes, ma'am.
You think they do better than tractors?
Yes, ma'am. I'd rather have a mule than have a tractor any day.
How many acres do you plant?
Well, anyway, I say I have it stretched around about, I speak about 45 acres.
And
Probably
you
a little bit more, but I'd be able to say about 45.
and you farm it all with a mule?
Yes, ma'am.
What all do you plant, O.L.?
I plant peanuts, sweet potato, okra, butter bean, peas, sweet potato, watermelon. I just plant a little everything on the farm. Cucumber and squash, all like that. I plant a little everything.
How did your watermelons do this year?
They done fine. Yes, ma'am. They really done fine.
How do you market most of your products? Do you have people come to your fields and buy the stuff?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I don't never hold nothing off. I don't never hold nothing off. People always come here. They know I sell good stuff, and they come and get it. I never have to hold nothing off.
Did you have any problem with disease in your watermelons? Did you have to spray? Do you spray or anything with your
No,
watermelons?
ma'am.
You never have any problems with disease?
No, ma'am.
That's good farming, isn't it? Yeah. How about the rain? Did it hurt you any this year? I know other farmers.
Well, it hurt me on my butter bean and peas. It ruined my butter bean. Because I had the butter bean in a low place, it just ruined it.
Uh-huh.
Because I did got some, but it lasted long.
Yeah. Well, how about showing us a little bit more of how your mule works? What else can you tell us about this mule, O.L.?
Well, if you want to, I can go up here and hook to another plow and plow some more sweet potato, you know, if you want to see a different plow.
Why don't we do that if you don't mind?
I can use this plow right there. Hook to another plow. That's what I do. I change from one plow to another. So, if she's good in general, you can pick up her feet, but she will run away now.
She will?
Yes.
Is she rideable?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. She can ride her.
That's your little sled right there, huh?
Yes, ma'am. Ooh. Ooh.
This is his mode of transportation. We'll see how it operates here. How about that for gas mileage? Easy on tires, change of oil, a little bit of it all. Just have to replace a few boards every now and then. Going to unhook his mode of transportation, his little car, little wagon, hooked behind a new type plow. Well, what do you call this thing? This sweep or whatever?
Just a grasshopper.
Vaughn says Georgia grasshopper.
Yes, ma'am.
Mule knows right where to go, doesn't he?
Yes, ma'am.
Does a great job. Not real fast, but fast enough. Beats a push plow. Yes, sir, it beats a push plow. This used to be the only way they had a plow in the fields, breaking land. These are sweet potatoes he's got here. Does an excellent job. The mule turns around at the end very gently. He gives commands to the mule. The mule does the work as far as lifting the plow to take it around. Really goes deep into the ground. He keeps a very neat garden, grass free. I think he gets up early in the morning, works till about 10, goes in, comes back about 5, works till dark. The way farmers of olden times used to do. This mule knows all the commands, doesn't he?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yeah. Whoop, look out. Everybody needs a break once in a while. This land that he's farming here was once Eldestina plantation land, is now being sold to some new owners. And I'm sure they let him rent the land or just let him farm the land for a little bit. It's right near his house, and he rides his sleigh back and forth over here. It's probably within a quarter of a mile of his house. So he doesn't have far to come. It's all in one acreage. Like he said, most of the people that buy produce from him come to the fields because they know he has it here. It's right side of US 27, so it's an easy location to get to. That's a great job, O.L. Great job.
Go, go.
How many more years do you think you'll be farming?
Well, I don't like to know. I really don't. I just love it. I farm all of my days, so I just love to farm.
Well, you certainly do a good job at it.
Yeah.
How many mules have you owned in your lifetime?
Well, I say about, maybe I say about 8. About 8 mules I have.
8 mules.
Yeah.
I guarantee you more people probably own more tractors than that in a lifetime such as yours.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, that is for sure. Well, we thank you, O.L., for showing us the lost art of farming, and hope you continue on. Where did you get all your equipment from?
Well, I bought it from, well, I had these, equipment, I reckon about 5 or 6 years I had. Some of them I had long in that. But, the thing about it now, you can't all, you got to get, flower tubes, then you got to go to Georgia, Madison to get them. You can't find them around here.
Do they even make them anymore, or is
Yeah.
it usually
Yes, ma'am, they make them, but down you just that certain place you got to find them at. Can't go to a store like that right around here.
Right. I noticed some of your handles are metal handles
Yes, ma'am.
rather than the old wooden handles.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Some of it metal handles.
Well, OL, we appreciate it, and we hope you have a lot of years left to do the farming, and
I hope so. Yeah.
we all enjoy eating your produce, and
Yes,
you do a great job.
Yes, ma'am.
Are those some melons that you grew over there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You had people come here to buy the melons from your
Yes,
field.
ma'am. Yes.
As many melon patches it was around, you probably sold just about all of them, didn't you?
Yeah, some I sell all of them. Put in there, I sell all of them over. Remember, there's a lot of them out there now. I come up here last night and load up a pickup truck with watermelon, so I still got a lot of watermelon out here. People say, my watermelon eat better than these other people watermelon. See, I ain't put all that on. I didn't put that much fertilizer on them. Yeah, well, I got really about 2 acres out there. I didn't put over 500 pounds of fertilizer. She ain't gonna do nothing. She couldn't, you know.
What type melons did you plant, OL?
Well, I planted the stripe and the gray. Both.
And you never spray for them? You never spray anything on them, just fertilize them? What do you think causes disease in watermelons?
Well, I really don't know now. I couldn't hardly tell you, but just like I don't never spray mine, and I don't never. Two things I don't do. I don't fertilize. I don't fertilize peanut and peas. I don't fertilize peanut. The only thing I fertilize like corn and okra and butter bean and thing. I don't fertilize no. I don't use no fertilizer on the peanut.
Right. Well, you do a good job.
Yeah, thank you.
You sure do. And thank you for being with us
Yeah.
today and showing us your mule.
People time I be out here, see you flying. People stop out in a Harley, be just taking pictures. Don't you know? I mean, don't send nothing to me. Just be out there just taking pictures, watching me taking pictures. I don't know who they is, and they don't send nothing to me. One day I was crossing the road, and a woman, she was she said her name was she said she was from California. She see me cross that road, she was running, turn around, and come back. Want to take some picture of me and the mule. Yeah. Get California children, her children.
I'll be darned.
There's one thing about it, of course I'm too old for that now. I couldn't do nothing to get away with it. I couldn't do nothing to get away with it because everybody got my picture and they know my picture. Don't get it.
Do you know of anybody else that farms with a mule besides you? Do you rent this land here from Eldestina, or do they just let you farm?
They just let me turn all I want, and they don't charge me nothing at all.
Is that right?
They do all they break all my land and they don't charge me nothing.
They hair it up with a tractor for you?
Yes, ma'am.
And you just, lay the rows off and plant it and everything?
Yes, ma'am. Just like now. All my corn now. They plant all my corn and work all my corn. I don't have to wait. Still gonna charge me a bunch of fertilizer.
You probably keep them in groceries though, don't you?
Yes, ma'am. Come and get stuff, I get them different things that go on there. Anytime they want something, come and get it.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
I try to help folks.
How many children do you have?
6.
6 children.
3 boys and 3 girls.
Golly, big family. And none of them help you out here on the farm?
No, ma'am.
They're probably all working somewhere else, aren't they?
Well, you know my child, you know Pearlie Mae Keys, don't you?
Yeah.
You know JD went down to the fertilizer plant?
Yeah.
That's my oldest son, JD. I got 3 boys and 3 girls. One of them live in Jacksonville to teach school. One of them teach school in Jacksonville.
Is that right?
Yeah.
School teacher.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be darned. I bet she teaches her class about her daddy, doesn't she?
Yeah, I know she was out there last week and got some on peanuts I don't hardly see them till when they want something now, they're gonna find it.
That's usually the way it is with kids, though, isn't it?
When they want something, they're gonna find it then.
Yeah. Well, you'll probably knock off about, what, 9:30 or 10 when it gets hot?
About 10 o'clock, yeah.
You've been out here since what time?
I've been out here about maybe since about 7 o'clock, a little bit earlier.
Well, that's the time to farm. That's the way olden time farmers used to farm, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So then you'll go home and do what during the middle of the day?
Well, what I do, watch the sun shining, you know, hot like this, I pick off peanuts. I be in the shade to picking off peanuts until it gets cool. And it gets cool, I come back down.
I believe you got a big shade tree there you sit under.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Feed the peanut vines to your mule?
Yes, ma'am. Mule and hog, cow.
You got all kind of animals over there at your house, don't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, a little bit of it all. Well, we'll let you get back to work, O.L.
All right, ma'am. Okay.
We thank you.
You're welcome. I enjoy y'all. Enjoy talking to y'all.